Hello, parents. I know some of my key parents, for whatever reason, missed the meeting on Sunday night. It's kind of a hard time to make this time of year, perhaps, with all the increased activity finally in our society. So I thought I would give you a quick overview. There were two really super important concepts that came out of that meeting that even if you were a parent with me before, you really need to review. Since maybe I'm not directly guiding your student or they're not coming to the meetings when they can or whatever reason. Um, I do need to give a shout out to one particular parent. I won't call your name, no need to get nervous. She really gave me the idea to do this because she called and asked about an aspect of that meeting or texted me, and I want to tell her I'm praying for her and I'm happy about her. Sister, I'm happy about your health right now, and it was really good to hear that. So we'll get to talk later. I'm just busy with a big CSU meeting today. I dropped out of that for this here. All right, okay, let's go on and get into it right now. I'll try to keep this very short. I know how busy you are right now, but it was from our meeting this past Sunday. And let's go on and take a look at some of the concepts here. First of all, I did talk about the college admissions requirements that are changing for societal reasons. I stated that historically, since 2012, the SAT requirements have been affected by social justice reforms in our society. And I talked about the COVID response since March. Colleges have been dropping their SAT requirements. And of course, the Floyd killing and its effects have taken over and pushed their social justice even more for further decisions by schools to reduce the SAT requirements. So those two factors have been huge that brought me to the need for this view graph. This has caused colleges to change their cost model, right, which is based on a certain number of students attending. They have to get that fixed number, and many of those schools did not get it this past fall. So they've had to look at their admissions requirements to get more applications, right? That's what I mean by cost model. And so the COVID response to COVID actually has caused some changes to the cost model. And that, of course, means dollars, and colleges are very concerned when they lose enrollment. So that further pressured, as I said, the SAT requirements. In three ways: they reduced requirements, went test optional in some cases, and then actually went no test at all in other cases. We'll talk about how much that in just a moment. And further effects of the Floyd situation have led to parents, not sending their students to certain cities where there's a lot of rioting or significant crime increases. I'm thinking about New York. The New York colleges are just devastated right now because they've had a threefold increase in murders and a reduction in the police force by 20% by its mayor. Again, I try not to get political here, and I won't do that now, but that's a big concern in New York, Chicago, Seattle, and Portland with my schools. Parents are voicing concerns about the safety of their students. Also DC to an extent. So although there's a little more protection there for reasons don't need to get into right now. All right. Okay. I've talked to DC parents about that. If you're interested, just let me know. Here's some key test optional colleges. I couldn't list them all because they're over 1,600. 1,690 is the time I produced this, and my people told me they were over 1,700. So there's a view graph later that says 1,700 if you get the package from me. And you should ask for the slides if you want them. But I'm covering the key ones for you now. I won't cover all of them, so some things I will not cover here, okay? So over 1,600 colleges have gone test optional, and there are some of them listed to give you an idea of what's going on there. If you want to go to fairtest.org, there it is right there, www, write this down, fairtest.org. I'll wait for a second there so you can see it. And just go there, and then you can click on university and optional, and then state. You can find out what's. You just click on university, you'll see a listing of a full listing of these schools that are test optional. I will cover a little bit about what test optional means. I think I'll say something about it in just a moment. Here's 64 campuses that are test blind, test free. They're not even looking for the SAT. There's now over 75, 70, between 75 and 80 now. Things are moving that fast. Again, go to that website that I gave you earlier for understanding. And now I think I will talk about a difference between test optional and test free. Sometimes test free means just what it says. They're not going to read the SAT at all. Provide scores, though they're not looking at them. They're not going to look at their database. So they will not use scores to determine who admits. Do you understand? That's very important. So you can build a college list with these schools, really. Some of them are quite affordable too. Again, if you need guidance on that, please reach out to me. Test optional means that the school has the option, you have the option of submitting scores or not. A lot of parents feel, oh my God, that's going to disadvantage my child who couldn't take the test. Not at all. Most schools are going to review all their GPA only students first, to be fair, right? And then they'll look at the SAT students with that intelligence. Okay, and then they'll be able to determine what their SAT, whether the SAT is relevant. I think they'll get enough students out of the test, ones who did not test, where they really won't care about the SAT scores. A lot of those will morph to be test free. And I think that's the schools that are going to get enough applications anyway, right? And they're just doing the test optional for insurance to make sure they get enough. And others, that's how they'll get enough students. So why would they hold scores against students, particularly if they're minority students? Remember that first slide, if they're, and nearly 80% of my students are Black or Hispanic, I think 85%. So, if your student is in that category, I don't think you need to worry about not having taken the test. But at the same token, if they took the test, it's just not going to be anything that, it didn't hurt them, didn't help them. It just was something extra they did because they did the hard work and they felt that they needed to take it, I guess. Let's see. I think that's all I want to say about that. I just want to cover, again, you can get all these slides later. I do want to talk now a little bit about transcripts, about how colleges are going to decide. So how are they going to decide if they're not going to use the SAT to decide? Well, GPA was always more important, parents. It's really important now. All right. So students really going to get what they earn, not what they want this year. It's GPA. So obviously the higher the GPA, the more easy it'll be for the student. Now, don't think from that a school that's historically very selective is all of a sudden going to take 2.8 students. I don't think it means that at all. I think it's going to be much harder when you're looking only at GPA. The SAT was the way a lot of my low GPA students or reduced GPA students admitted to certain selective schools. So I don't anticipate, people getting in who normally wouldn't with this. But GPA is really important. Essay quality, meaning the depth of experience of the student, the rhetorical writing ability of the student, the clear communication of ideas, the directness of answering the question are very important. Some parents feel they just get a good SAT essay reviewer, everything will be right. That's true if you have a student who writes well. A reviewer will augment that student extremely well. If a student is not a great writer, it depends on the amount of time the reviewer wants to spend editing and correcting grammar errors, things like that. Now, I tend to do that earlier in the process, but then later I don't. And I just simply tell the parents that, maybe they need to get an English teacher for the grammar, then I'll look at it. But it depends on the reviewer, but it's either a student is a great writer and has the experience or they don't. And that gives me a chance to say that if somebody reviews your student's writing, you might ask them, does a student need additional training, additional writing before they go to college? Like maybe from a online 2-year college writing course would be good for that student. I plan on offering something this summer for college students, maybe even in the spring, because I'm seeing a lot of issues with writing. Because you remember junior year was the year where they did a lot of expository writing. They had to come home early. So I'm thinking that's why I'm seeing that a little more. Leadership activities, not just being in stuff, but have there been leaders? It's a private college issue only. Community-based organizational involvement, like in my organization, me helping the student in any way or them being in my sessions, will be more important than ever to be able to put on your college application or in your Common App. And every student I work with, I make sure they put us on there. race and gender, but not the way you think. You might think, well, ooh, they'll be more reluctant to take Black. No way. They want Black students so bad right now. I've had a record number of calls from predominantly white institutions that want to do virtual sessions with our students. And I will be accommodating a lot of them over the next couple of weeks, starting with the November 5th event. Go to our website if you want to learn more about the events. Maybe right before I finish, I'll show you the events on our website. You can go there and look for yourself. We have a lot of great events coming up. We're adding events and pointing out events all the time. Okay? The college course history is going to be important. Yeah, I meant college. If they were in high school, did they take college courses? And notice I didn't say AP, but I guess I do if they got an A or B in the AP course. C's and AP courses never really mean much. But A's and B's may mean something to private schools. Okay, I hope that helps in how they're going to decide without the SAT. The next thing I want to cover is this business of transcripts, how to send transcripts to colleges. I think that's what you asked about. You know who you are. You texted me about that this morning. How to send transcripts to colleges. Maybe your high school insists on sending the transcripts for you. Check with the high school and make sure. If they don't, it's up to you. You need to order an official transcript. But before you do that, they may use an online service like Parchment or a transcript service that Naviance provides. That's fine. They may even just mail them for you. Ooh, if they do, you got to follow up. In any case, you need to follow up. Make sure the transcripts are actually sent out. That is so, so important. Okay, I hope you understand that. If the high school is not sending the transcript, you should send it now, especially if they're going to be early action at Howard or USD, or what am I early action? And some of the Christian schools are early action. The other one is Howard University. Those are the only ones really you get more money if you apply early. The rest of them, it's just making you feel good applying early. If the high school is not sending the transcript, you should send it now. Do not send CSU or UC transcripts until you're accepted and decide to enroll in the school. Do not send transcripts to CSU and UC. They're not required. They will be shredded. You self-report your grades to those schools. All right? Anybody who we're submitting their CSU application for knows that, and we've cautioned you against it. But please don't send it. Here's what will happen if you send it. You'll send it, then they'll actually request it. You'll think you already sent it. Yeah, big confusion. Don't send it unless they ask for UC and CSU. Here's how you send a transcript. Never send it a sealed official transcript by certified mail. But it's going to be a sealed official transcript for 3 years of high school. Don't send it by certified mail because it ends up in a mail room at a college, and it's not always delivered, especially in this COVID environment. Please do not send certified mail. Instead, use priority mail. Do class 1 or class 2, I prefer class 1, with a destination tracker via the post office, US Postal Service mail, right? Or FedEx, and send directly to the city's undergraduate admissions office. UPS would be overnight will be okay also, but send it directly to the college's undergraduate admissions office, okay? Right, directly to, now how do you address the envelope? Here's how you do that. The university's name, the address, city, state, and zip, and attention, Office of Undergraduate Admissions Transcript Review. Okay, I'm gonna leave this up for a minute. This is very, very important. Just go back, if I went too fast, just go back in the video and look at it again. That was extremely important. So many transcripts are lost. I would say about 1/8 are lost each year. I think there'll be more this year because of the mail-in ballots. You remember hundreds of millions, literally, of mail-in ballots. Actually, 200 million were sent out across the nation, and they're clogging the mail system. So really, especially you early action students, you're relying on mail. You need to send it priority. You need to send it the way I showed you, or you're going to have issues. It's extremely important. All right, my November 15th students, I would just wait till November 10th to send it out. I know it's scary waiting to send transcripts, but try not to send anything between the 3rd and the 5th, actually between the 1st and the 5th. That could be a problem for you. All right, I hope that helps. You need to get that presentation. We did cover scholarships and things like that in the presentation, how to find them. So definitely you want to be aware of that information. You need to contact me and get a copy of the slide package. And I did make a video recording of that meeting, but I want to take specific requests for that right now, okay? And I can send those to you, me or one of my assistants. God bless you, parents. I hope that helps. Bye-bye now.